It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Thanks for being here. Both black boxes have been acquired from the crash from, it's 2 days ago now. Boy, it was a sad day yesterday. I mean, I was watching some of the press conferences at the Skating Club of Boston, and that was just heartbreaking.
Yeah,
heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was.
And I did not know that they had lost people in the 1961 U.S. figure skating airline crash in where was it now? I forgot where it was. So it was in Europe. It was in Europe. I just can't remember where it was. But they had lost members.
Yeah,
and some of the people that support the skating club of Boston who were there talked about it. That when it happened, some people thought they were on the plane.
Belgium is where it
Belgium,
was.
yeah, it was Belgium. Yeah, Belgium. Yeah, thanks so much. And so that was just heartbreaking. And then Nancy Kerrigan was there, and she said she doesn't really come around there much. You know, she skated at the old one, the old arena that they used to have.
Yeah.
She said, I don't come around much, but she knows everybody. And she said, none of us came by to do a press conference.
Right.
The CEO of the organization gave a press conference earlier. They just came to comfort each other, and they saw the cameras and microphones there and reporters. And they were actually, they got quite emotional about it. They said, you're here because people care, and that's why we're talking.
Yeah.
Because first, until they said that, I had played some audio earlier on it, and I just said, I can't play this audio. And I don't know if I can play this. And then when I realized, okay, they're saying we're doing this because we want this message out, I thought, okay, it's fine. It's just they're so caught up in grief where you just feel like, okay, this is dirty. This is dirty, me getting into, and then you realize, no, they want people to see them at that moment in that arena. So we played part of Nancy Kerrigan earlier. Also yesterday, the nominations continue for the president's cabinet and FBI director. Let's play a little bit of the opening statement from Kash Patel, Trump's nominee for FBI director.
When President Trump informed me of his intention to nominate me as the director of the FBI, I was deeply honored. Sitting here today, I carry not only the dreams of my parents, but also the hopes of millions of Americans who stand for justice, fairness, and the rule of law. My commitment to these principles is deeply rooted in my family's history, which has profoundly shaped my worldview. My father fled Idi Amin's genocidal dictatorship in Uganda, where 300,000 men, women, and children were killed based on their ethnicity, just because they happen to look like me. My mother is originally from Tanzania. She studied in India, as did my dad, and they were married there. They would later emigrate to New York, as the senator pointed out, where I was born, and we were raised in a household of my father's 7 siblings, their spouses, and at least half a dozen children. That's the only way we knew how to do things at the time, in the 70s and 80s, the Indian way. But we would soon learn the American way. These values have shaped and been the driving force of my career in 16 years of government service. Protecting the rights of the Constitution is of the utmost importance to me and has been every single time I've taken that oath of office. The recent terrorist attacks in New Orleans tragically claimed the lives of 14 innocent Americans and serve as a stark reminder that our national security is at threat, both internally and externally. The FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Department of Justice, where I served, play a pivotal role in securing our freedoms and our safeties for American citizens. If confirmed as the next FBI director, I will remain focused on the FBI's core mission. That is to investigate fully wherever there is a constitutional factual basis to do so, and to never make a prosecutorial decision that is solely the providence of the Department of Justice and the Attorney General. For the first 8 years after law school, I served as a public defender, first for Miami-Dade County and later for the Southern District of Florida. During that time, I represented some pretty awful human beings charged with some pretty heinous crimes. But what I learned there was the core value that has been enshrined in me since, that due process must be provided without bias to all Americans.
So there he is. Interesting, because you don't have many FBI directors that were public defenders. That was pointed out yesterday.
Yeah,
you normally
right.
don't have that coming from somebody who's going to be really the chief law enforcement officer over the FBI department. I guess the chief law enforcement officer would be the attorney general. But they're more of a prosecutor. He's actually part of, they're all part of law enforcement in a way.
Right, right.
He's actually an officer of law enforcement of the FBI. So, we'll see what happens. I thought he did a good job. I think he'll be confirmed. I don't know. Have you seen the vote? Did I ask you this earlier? Did we see the vote on Kennedy or
Tulsi Gabbard or
Tulsi Gabbard?
Any of them? I haven't. I haven't seen a whip count. It is typical by the time you get to this process. It might be as we get to the floor vote. It would be typically beyond the committee vote and getting close to the floor vote. You get some kind of indication as to whether it's going to pass. But also what is typical is if there is no path, if there is zero path to confirmation, that it is known by this step in the process. So unless there's a surprise, something that hasn't already been discussed and kind of vetted it, in any of these cases.
Wasn't McConnell a surprise for Hegseth? Because I thought the day before, I remember that we saw the story that said McConnell was a yes for Hegseth, and then he backed out.
It was, but I was telling you off the air that I have a theory, and I can't prove it, but I have a theory that he did that. No, I don't know politically what's behind the no vote. I can't tell you that, because I do believe that McConnell is getting toward the end of his career. Simple math will tell you that. But also his health issues and the fact that he's no longer the Senate Majority Leader. He stepped down. And while he's still in the Senate, there's been lots of talk, actually, in the last few years about who he is grooming, or the GOP is grooming, from his state to take that seat or run for that seat in the not too distant future. So I don't know what the political play is on that no vote. It's frustrating to people like me because I do believe that by the time Hegseth got through confirmation, you and I both talked about it. Look, we can tell you what the problems are going to be during the process, quite possibly. And we talked about that since he was nominated. But I've never had a lack of confidence in him being able to do that job as defense secretary. I think he will do a good job. Well, with Mitch McConnell, I tend to believe that if Mitch McConnell's vote would have been required for Hegseth to be confirmed, he would have been a yes vote. And it was going back and forth in those days. The reports were back and forth. At first he was a no, and then it was, no, it looks like he's coming around, and he's going to be a yes vote, and then in the end he was no. Well, he was no. I'm convinced, I could be wrong, because J.D. Vance was able to tie or break the tie. And if it had been required for him, McConnell, to vote yes in order for Hegseth to be confirmed, I think he would have voted yes. And that's the other thing, too. If that is correct, again, I don't have any proof on this theory, but if that's correct, then you can't explain away any political reason to vote no. It didn't make any sense at all. And look, you had Rand Paul. Rand Paul talking about the fact he posted on X. Was it yesterday or day before yesterday? He posted on X that he's going to support RFK Jr. He's going to vote yes. So I what I haven't heard, definitely haven't heard, is that they don't have the votes, that the GOP doesn't have the votes. And as you pointed out, if Kamala, if it was a Democrat that had nominated RFK Jr., it'd be a very different
Now he wouldn't get
scenario.
one. He wouldn't get one Republican.
Right, exactly. And so now you have, again, I think, at least with those three, I think you have, I think you have some, there's, what you don't have is you don't have the conversation right now and the reports that there is no path to confirmation and the GOP is, is split and they're not going to be able to get it done. I don't know about the labor secretary nomination. So
yeah, well, it's interesting because every one of my friends who are Trump supporters with the Hegseth,
mm-hmm.
they were posting every day,
Mm-hmm.
every single day.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to be cut. Nothing on Kennedy.
Yeah.
I just find it interesting.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Right.
Because really what it comes down to is, look, it's Trump nominee, support Trump. Nobody's saying
Right.
we believe, that we believe wholeheartedly with the agenda of RFK.
It's more of the bite your tongue approach.
Yeah.
It's more of the or hold your tongue approach.
And even on Tulsi, it's like they sort of don't know. Seems like Republicans don't know where to go on that.
Well, and the problem is,
look, I had a couple of questions for her. I think she'd be fine.
yeah, and the problem with
she's not a Russian agent, by the way.
No, she's not.
Yeah.
She's not an agent for Assad. That's not the case.
Right. Biden is.
Yeah. Rand Paul might be. But I'm just saying it's a joke. If you but the problem is the problem with RFK Jr., if you're one of those who bite your tongue, is that he's probably going to support single payer. And for you, that might be a good thing because you won't have to pay. It really is very interesting times. Am I going to scream bloody murder if RFK Jr. is confirmed? No, I'm not.
No, actually, I wish to get everything over. I think the worst one is the labor secretary nominee, which is just, absolutely horrendous. I still,
that one is going to be a real hard pill to swallow.
Nobody is defending her.
No, in fact, Rand Paul, was it Rand Paul who said he won't vote?
Yeah.
It was Rand Paul who said he will not be voted. He will vote no.
I want to get this over so they can start moving and communicating effectively and get the things that they need to get done. Because even I know we're just a little week and a half into it.
It feels like the end of the first year.
It really does. We're a week and a half into it.
So much has been done.
But I want as much effective communication. I think they're doing a great job on the border.
Yeah.
I think that, now Congress needs to get down and, because you hear no talk, nothing coming from the House about the first reconciliation bill on the border.
Yeah.
There's nothing on that.
Right. Yeah.
And I've no idea what they're going to do. No idea what they're going to do on tax policy because it doesn't look like they can agree on anything. They couldn't even agree to everybody meet together to discuss, what their plan of action is. You had conservative Republicans that wouldn't show up for it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like, after it was the beginning of the week. Wasn't it the beginning of the week where I almost said McCarthy, where Mike Johnson came out and said, we're all unified. We're all ready to go. And all of a sudden the next day, boom.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're all unified. Can't even discuss whether to meet in a
Well,
retreat.
we're gonna win the midterm. He was already,
And so they've got a lot. That's where the hard work's going to be. But the administration, I want them to get moving. And I really want, like I've said, after yesterday with Trump and the DEI thing, I really want them to go, it needs to be a war against DEI. But you get to the war by breaking down what DEI is to the to every American citizen.
Yeah.
That it's about separating, it's about dividing. Just don't say DEI anymore.
Right.
So explain what it is. If you wish to say the racist DEI, because when you just say DEI, they go, well, why would you be against diversity, equity?
Yeah.
The racist DEI, which is part of the identity politics that the Democrats have been promoting for the last couple of decades, which is judging people by groups and not individuals. We don't believe in it. We believe that's immoral. We believe it's evil. And we believe that it is not how the departments of the federal government, whose job is to protect the Americans, we don't believe it should be set up that way to divide people. Everybody should be united. That Mr. Hegseth is right. It's not where diversity isn't why we succeed. It's unity. And it's unity that we all agree on the mission to protect the American people.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it. And then have the left go crazy over it and then pound them, because they will get pounded, even though I don't think Trump answered the question exactly as he should yesterday on that. By the time we were coming into work, nobody was really arguing with the debates that Republicans were making. When you get down to the minutia, they can't. So bring up a little bit of the minutia.
Yeah.
Talk. If they can't win it, they can't win it. Just don't say common sense tells you DEI is wrong. Explain very quickly why it's wrong.
Right.
Use other words.
Right.
Talk about the racism of it. Talk about how it divides America. Talk about the identity politics, and this is all part of the identity politics of the Democrats, which is separating people by groups and not individuals. If we're going to protect the American people, all these federal departments that do that need to be united, and they need to be united on what their mission goals are. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And their mission goals are to protect the American people, whether on a commercial airliner or in the military.
Yep. It's got to be a constant. The communication is key.
Yeah. I don't just want to win the argument now on identity politics and DEI. I want it slam dunk.
Yep.
I want a knockout in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
I want a Mike Tyson knockout on this.
Let's Mike Tyson this whole DEI thing.
And you can do it. Why? Because you got the facts on your side.
Yep.
866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
This Sunday, Groundhog Day. Will Punxsutawney Phil and his creature counterparts signal 6 more weeks of winter or an early start to spring? We ask another mammal of the human species for their prognosis of Sunday's outcome. USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey.
It's worth trying to go out on a limb here and make a pick for 2025.
And he says one indicator of future weather, expected clear skies in western Pennsylvania on Groundhog Day.
I would not be surprised to see clear skies and a forecast for another 6 weeks of winter.
Especially with cold air still present in the northern regions of the globe. Rippey does acknowledge a ridge of high pressure east of the Keystone State, plus southerly winds Sunday could bring cloud cover. And the chance that morning that the groundhog does not see his shadow, a sign of an early spring. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90 Red Eye on Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Coming up following the bottom of the hour, the entertainment portion of the show, will have some audio from Senator John Kennedy.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. He made a great point because Dick Durbin called Kash Patel a conspiracy theorist. He goes,
Yeah, right.
He goes, wait a minute. Weren't you involved in proving that one of the conspiracy theories was true? Or was true that it was a Russia collusion hoax? He goes, yes, I was a lead investigator on that.
Exactly.
It's greatness. So
Yeah.
We'll get to that and more on the way here.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio. from the Uniden America Studios.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. All right, some entertainment here. John Kennedy,
All right.
Senator Kennedy of Louisiana, asking Kash Patel some questions.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
All right.
You've made a lot of people mad, haven't you, Mr. Patel?
Seems so, Senator.
Think maybe you've made the right people mad?
As my FBI agents, the BRIC agents, told me when I was running cases with them across this country and around the world, if you're not ticking off some people, you're not doing your job right.
My colleague and friend Senator Durbin called you a conspiracy theorist. You remember that?
I do, Senator.
You were instrumental in revealing that the Trump-Russia election collusion hoax was a hoax, weren't you?
Yes, sir. I was a lead investigator.
I love the pause.
Sounds to me like we need to get some new conspiracy theories because all the old ones turned out to be true.
Facts matter, Senator.
Yeah. I mean, conspiracy theorists are up something like 37-0.
I love that.
That was great.
Oh, Kennedy is great on that. That's just great. Yeah.
But it's a solid point. Think
Yeah.
of all the things that we were told were conspiracy theories.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
If you said it was a Russia collusion, excuse me. What did I say? Collusion?
I don't know.
Collusion hoax.
Mm-hmm.
That was viewed as a conspiracy theory, yet it was absolutely correct.
Yeah.
It was a hoax. In fact, it was an operation from the Hillary campaign to take down Trump.
Yeah.
Everything that you heard about Trump was made up by Hillary and the Hillary campaign through campaign money that they broke the law when reporting when they spent it.
Yeah.
And were fined hundreds of thousands of dollars to give to a Russian national. Some of it, they gave significant portion to a Russian national who in a drunk fest came up with just any type of thing that Trump might have done. They just made it up. Oh, okay. Prostitutes and the pee and, just...
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
All of that was made up in the drunk fest by a Russian national.
Right.
Who worked for a liberal think tank.
Yep. By the way, they're taking great liberties in calling anything that they do a think tank.
Yeah, well, he used to work for a think tank. The think tank wasn't directly involved with Hillary.
Right. But it's
case,
there's no thinking going on. No critical thinking anyway.
And so, as we all know, and they used that, of course, they used that complete fake document to get a FISA warrant, a secret warrant, to spy on the Trump campaign.
Yeah.
And then you think of, again, we go to COVID, the lab leak theory, and we got there this week.
Yeah.
Where the CIA came out and said, no, that's our number one thing.
Yeah.
So the CIA, the FBI, every single, who else did Secret Service do it? Who else? Somebody else did their own analysis. The federal government agreed under Biden that the most likely source is the lab leak theory.
Right.
And if you brought that up, remember before, it was a conspiracy theory.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's, and they thought they had won everything because they were in complete control of social media at that time. We now know. That's another conspiracy theory. Oh, the government, they wanted you to believe that if you thought the government was controlling what was being promoted on social media,
Right.
you were a conspiracy theorist.
Right, exactly. That there was censoring going on
Right.
that the government was in collusion with, and we now know
Right.
that that's true also.
Right. And it's at every turn you look at it, it's really like it is bizarro because it's the opposite. It's whatever they say. It's what they're a part of. Whatever they accuse the other side of is actually what they're doing. And time again, the proof is there. It has been so unsettling to go through, but greatly encouraging to be on this side of it now, where it's more and more you see the truth coming out. We said it years ago. We don't know when it will be, but the truth will come out. The truth will surface. The truth doesn't change. Whatever has happened has happened. And it's about finding the truth, the will to find the truth. You have to have that. You have to go looking for it. But in order to find the truth in something like this, it has to be the political will. It has to be the political will of the people, which has also been encouraging to watch in terms of that change, which tells us again that we're right. When I say I think there's a great number of rank and file Democrats who want to separate themselves from the radicals, and they have yet to do that because they have not separated themselves from the party. And you see it over and over again where, we see the polls on the issues. We see this. There's this proof of this. And that's why I think that's what's building my theory. There's actually something behind it. It's not just a gut feeling.
Well, we know they're not going to change. We just saw it yesterday.
The radicals aren't. That's for sure.
Yeah. The radicals are the DNC and the Democrats.
No, I'm talking about rank and file. The rank and file.
Oh, the rank and file. Okay,
yeah.
All right.
Is what I mentioned. Yeah.
Okay. When you see, for example, the every single person running for the DNC chair believes that racism and misogyny is the reason that Harris lost. They took the poll yesterday on MSNBC. Mm-hmm. They all raised their hands, go, good, good, good. Yeah. So they still are living in victimhood and identity politics. Mm. They can't get out of it. And, so the point is that you're making, how long will the rank and file, who's slowly moving away?
Right.
And
we see it in the polls on the issues.
And the thing that I recognize and you recognize is that the people that are moving away from the Democrat Party that have made it clear, and we look at what's Pincus's first name? Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Pincus, the tech billionaire. We played him earlier this week, and he's quit the Democratic Party. And he quit the Democratic Party because they went after Republicans who said, nope, we don't want men playing against women. And they said, well, AOC, did Schumer also say it? That basically they're pedophiles who just wish to examine people's genitals before they play sports.
Yeah.
And it was like, what the hell are you talking about? It's nowhere in the bill. A birth certificate does that.
Right.
And he was so angry because this is a guy who's a gay rights supporter and a lifelong Democrat who said, no matter whether I support gay rights, this has got men playing women's sports has nothing to do with it. And they were so disingenuous to call the other side pedophiles or imply they're pedophiles because they don't want men playing women's sports. That was it for me. Now, we were surprised that it took that long for him to change, and that was the thing that pushed him over the top.
Right.
But, who knows? So, you had him, you had that, the other professor, was it Francione also?
Yeah, right, yeah.
He's left. And, of course, we always mention Michael Rappaport because he's just so...
Yeah.
But they're all angry. They said, when they realized they've been lied to. No, I'm sorry. Francione was the radical transgender movement. Pincus was Charlottesville.
Yes,
Pincus was
yes.
Charlottesville.
He said in
Right.
spring of last year. Yeah, right.
And then you look at Rappaport, and they're so angry at the Democratic Party, and they're angry at themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They said, we can't believe we didn't do our own homework. We can't believe we believe them. There's so much hatred and anger at themselves and at the Democratic Party because they said it was so easy to find out whether they were lies or not.
Right.
And we just never did it.
Right.
And then when we did it, we went, well, my God, if they're lying about this, what else are they lying about?
Right.
Now, our audio cut of the week here
Okay.
may be a little bit disturbing
Maybe.
for some people.
Yep.
And not that it just comes from Schumer, but it's what Schumer says. And this is Schumer saying where the American people are right now emotionally and where Democrats in the Senate are emotionally.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
Well, look, we've heard of MAGA, we've heard of MAHA, and now we're going to hear of MA, which is Make America Aroused Again. Now, listen.
I love that
For
you
all of you,
I love that you looked up the second definition of aroused yesterday.
I know. I was like,
Is there another definition that he's
Well,
trying to throw out there?
yeah, it was actually the intent was initially was to help me with one of my one-liners, which I wasn't going to get on the air anyway.
Right. And it was the second one that is, and I disputed it because it was like, no,
Awaken.
Aroused means awaken. I go, well, I don't think I ever woke up in the morning and felt refreshed and said, I'm really feeling aroused.
Hey, thanks for arousing me early.
And so immediately after he said that, Trump put out the executive order to get the $50 million in condoms for Gaza back to the Democrats in the Senate.
Sorry, I'm late. I didn't arouse on time. This is the problem. This is the problem.
Oh, my God. That was the best.
Oh, my gosh. Listen, they make it too easy. Look, hey, don't blame us. Okay, you can blame us, but still, come on, we're having fun.
Do I have to save? I have to save that for a possible audio cut of the year.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
yeah.
look what Trump has done to the Democrats. They're all aroused.
Yes.
Oh, no. Hopefully this doesn't mean they'll reproduce.
Right.
Republicans and Catholics now all for
Exactly.
birth control.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Good old Chuck, huh?
The fact that Chuck had to say it made it even creepier, didn't it?
It's just so creepy. He makes everything creepier. How do you make a cheeseburger creepier? Chuck Schumer. I don't know that a cheeseburger's ever been creepier, except for that whole Mayor McCheese thing back in the day with McDonald's.
Did he ever delete that because of the criticism?
I don't know, because it's hard to know. It's hard to remember what people did screenshots of and made, the memes and everything else that were just everywhere.
Yeah, because
I don't know if he did. He may have.
That was 4th of July, right? I think.
Was it 4th of July?
Or might have been
or Labor Day.
It could have been Labor Day.
Mm. Yeah.
We're just like every other American.
Look,
we're making burgers on the grill.
I'm a normal person.
And if you don't remember it, it was he had cheese on top of a raw hamburger on the grill.
Yeah.
I called. I go, you're not even cooking that.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah. What are you doing, Chuck? What's wrong with you?
And did they get AOC for something too?
Yeah, probably.
She was in her kitchen doing something.
Yeah. Hiding from the garbage disposal.
866-90 Red Eye.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90 Red Eye.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. You did see that Trump said yesterday the 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada start on Saturday.
Yeah.
Now, got nothing to do with trade. All of it has to do with border crossings and fentanyl.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, hasn't decided yet on oil.
Right. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where all of that goes and how long it lasts. Because if implemented, it's going to have an impact fairly quickly. We'll see.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.